So, welcome. I'm just making sure the technology is playing together nicely. And as you're arriving, feel free to use the chat functions of either Zoom or Facebook and say hi as you're hopping on. You can stay silent if you're on Zoom. That would be awesome. And for some reason, I hope everyone can see me. Good morning. If you can't see me, let me know. And also, as you're hopping on, let me know where you're joining from. And I know a lot of people are going to be local in Massachusetts and the Boston area where I am, but I've also had people joining in writing from Canada and Australia, and even someone from South Africa. So I'm curious to know where people are joining in from. All right, got John and Jen from Wellfleet. And Lynn, good morning, everyone. Oh, yes, and I've been very impressed that I even have someone who told me, I think they're in Oregon, said they were going to come and join us, set an alarm for 5 in the morning, get up and join the retreat that way. So, just so you know, there will be replays for this and the watch party as well. And there's always a delay when there's on Facebook. So I am going to just take a few breaks and look at any questions or comments as we're going. Okay. And also getting a handle with the different views. Sorry for the technical issues as I settle in. Make sure I haven't ever used Zoom and Facebook Live together apart from doing a practice run and noticing that there was a delay. So yeah, there's Chitra coming from Oregon. I know you're the one who woke up so early and put your alarm on. Thank you for your dedication and being here, and for all of you guys taking a moment to appreciate that you've shown up this early in the morning to learn about meditation and how to make a practice that sticks with me. So that's the main goal in the retreat this week at the end of the 5 days, is to get you to have the tools that you need to make a meditation practice that actually works for you. And then as your life changes and you grow and things change, your meditation practice can shift with you. Because a lot of people think, there's a lot of ideas out there about why it might not be working. All right, so everyone can see me, everything's going okay. Great, people from Canada and Ohio. And you're welcome to write any questions into the chat function for either Zoom or Facebook at any time. And I will take a break and read them and look at them as we go. So a little more about the retreat. The main issue that I've identified in some of the research I've done talking to people, or even in the questions that I've asked as you've joined the Facebook group, the main struggle people have is consistency, making the practice work for them. And so that's why I've created this retreat and been looking into what's important. And I like to think of this rather than me telling you a prescription for like how to do it. I like to have different questions. So I like for me to ask the questions and you to find the answers so that it really does work for you. So I have these 5 questions I identified. Today we're going to be looking at why, and tomorrow we'll be looking at when, and then a few other questions like where, how long, and what. Over the next few days, we'll have these different areas of your actual practice that are sort of the more practical tips. So if you become aware of your practice and the form and function of your practice, then you can adjust it to what you need as life is changing. So while it's a bit of a tough ask to get you a meditation practice that will suit your entire life, a lifelong sustainable habit in just 5 days, we're going to do our best to equip you with what you need to create that for yourself. So in the flow of these sessions, I'm going to start each session with a brief check-in, a little overview, maybe what we talked about the day before. Today's a little bit of this kind of admin. And then we'll go into the topic. We'll start asking that question. And then in the second half, we'll actually sit and do a meditation together. So I'm letting you know the flow in case you're arriving 5 minutes late. That shouldn't be a big deal. Or if you're arriving a lot later and you want to go back and rewatch it, you will be able to rewatch it from the Facebook group. And I'm also going to have a watch party every evening at 9 p.m. So if you're joining from the watch party, you can also use the comments and I can engage with you that way. So yeah, in that sense, you can also do it on your own time. It's a lot about having it work for you and doing things on your own time in this retreat. Oh yeah, and then the other thing is towards the end of the retreat, I have a couple of giveaways. You may have seen something. This is my journal, still wrapped in plastic right now. It says Path to Presence on it. And I have a couple of free meditation programs and scholarships. One for my own program, Calm Mind, Clear Heart, and one for Circle and Bloom, which does a lot of special work with fertility and pregnancy and a lot of health related concerns as well. So the big result I'm hoping for this week is that you'll have a meditation practice that sticks. Let me know in the comments as I'm looking through things what your experience with meditation has been like. Is this your first time to sit and try it? Have you ever had a practice before? I'm just looking at some of the comments. Yeah, so let me know if you're brand new to meditation, if you've been meditating for years. I'm trying to make this retreat for all levels because I think these strategies work for all levels. And I'll tell you a little bit about my experience. If you didn't read, might not know who I am or didn't read anything about me. I first started to meditate when I was about 15, and it really came out of some movement practices, Tai Chi, Qigong, and yoga. And so it was incorporated as a piece of the movement, maybe at the end of yoga or sometimes in the beginning of Tai Chi. And I was lucky enough to be able to do these non-competitive sports in my high school. And then I played with meditation here and there when it suited me, when I remembered it for over the years. And about a dozen years ago, I was going to school in Australia studying shiatsu, and we had to actually have a log for what was our chi cultivation, our sort of energy work, our internal exercise was another one. And so it kind of got me into more of a habit and thinking more deeply about my practice. And then from my studies in shiatsu, I went on to do acupuncture training in the Boston area. And I found it really helped to do meditation as a way of grounding and centering myself while working with patients, both shiatsu and acupuncture. And I began to incorporate meditation as part of my treatment, where I do a guided meditation for all of my patients. And I found that it was a really important sort of key essential piece. So I just began to become more and more involved. I went to a few silent meditation retreats and the Insight Meditation Society in Massachusetts, in Barrie. And I loved the retreats and would feel, of course, that kind of lovely blissed out retreat feeling where meditation is so easy and your life is just evolving out of it. And then after a couple of weeks, it becomes so much harder to maintain. And this is basically the retreat bubble. If you know what I'm talking about, if you've been on a yoga retreat or a Tai Chi retreat. Those are things I've done before too. Tai Chi retreats exist as well. Meditation retreat. If you've ever had that experience, and you know what I'm talking about, then that's why this is going to be the retreat to end the retreat bubble. We're going to try to burst the bubble and actually work on your practice. I find it strange that not a lot of retreats do this, but it's a, there's meditation practice. One part of it is the meditation, is the content. One part of it is your practice and your awareness of actually working with your practice. So that's why we're doing a little bit of this. And I even am going to do a tiny, tiny slideshow for you, which is not something I normally do. And hang on a moment. There we go. Didn't want to cause havoc by making it go to Facebook and then everything went all crazy. All right, so let's go back here for a moment. So today's topic are the 5 meditation myths, debunked, and why it's hard to make a meditation practice stick. I often find it's easier to start talking about meditation by talking about what it's not and what are the myths, sometimes the myths that we don't even realize that we have. And I hope everyone can see my screen, and technology is still playing nicely. And this is the retreat bubble that I was just talking about. So yeah, let me know if in the comments if you've ever had this experience of going to a retreat and then finding it hard to continue whatever you were practicing, meditation, yoga, even art and writing retreats and things like that, right? Because real everyday life doesn't actually revolve around those things unless you set it up to be like that, unless you build in the appropriate cues, the reminders, the sort of scaffolding, the systems that you might need. Unless you're a monk or a hermit or something like that, right? And so here are the myths I want to talk about. Some people have these ideas about meditation without really even realizing it. Meditation is pure void, absence of thought, complete stillness and emptiness. And anyone who sat down for a moment has likely encountered their monkey mind and noticed that this idea of the absence of thought, of this total emptiness, void, is really not a very realistic one. So please don't come to meditation looking for that, or you'll be really disappointed and frustrated, right? We're actually trying to work with the unruly nature of the mind rather than to shut it down, to push it out, or all the other strategies we might have of where we think we should be when we're meditating. So it's learning to listen and pay attention and even befriend the monkey mind. And another myth is that meditation is pure bliss and enlightenment. Also, if you've sat down to meditate for any length of time, you might encounter the distractions of the mind, the monkey mind, the mental chatter. And then you might also be like, well, why am I not completely blissed out? Where is that feeling of oneness with the universe or complete empty, quiet mind? It's not always the goal to find bliss or pure quiet. This is also okay. This is also something that we learn to work with, whatever is arising. And here's a funny myth. Meditation is lazy and selfish. Some people don't turn to meditation because they think it's just sitting around and kind of like focusing a lot on yourself and maybe even a way of avoiding doing things. But hopefully, as you're doing meditation, you're actually training your ability to focus and your ability to listen to yourself and know more about yourself, so that maybe you can focus on the things that actually matter most to you. And it can have a very powerful sort of transformative nature in in your actions and your relationships with others as well. Hopefully you can develop a kinder relationship with yourself, and that also ripples out into the rest of your other relationships. And then we've got the fourth myth here. There's one correct way to meditate. There's no right way to meditate. There's many different ways to meditate. So a lot of people who are new to meditation worry about if they're doing it right. And I get this a lot from students as well. So do your best to just rest into the experience, knowing it's okay if the mind is distracted and busy. It's okay if there's sometimes a little bit of a struggle. And, with practice, you will find your way. So that's why focusing on the practice piece and the form of your meditation practice is so important. And the last one here, meditation is just as simple as sitting quietly. As I've done some research on meditation recently, I've had people say this to me: I don't have any struggles. I just sit down quietly to meditate. And I don't know how much the person who told me that was actually meditating because I wish it were that simple. But for it to become a practice, it's really like building a whole habit. And this speaks to what we're doing in the whole retreat, the whole 5 days. So anyone, feel free to write down. I'll take a break in a moment and look at any comments, but do these resonate with you? Have you ever believed these myths? Did you realize that this was something that you had been thinking, or that you hadn't really deeply considered? Because a lot of these things live, just sort of subconsciously, as sort of these little beliefs or sometimes fears about meditation as well. So it's why I like to take a moment to acknowledge it from the outset. And one of the reasons why a meditation practice might not stick is because we have these expectations about meditation that we didn't even know we had. And they might not be so realistic. So we may not have been able to fully grasp what a meditation practice means to you, as a unique individual, and how to sort of make it personal and tailor it. And that's also what we're going to be doing. And the last little slide I have to share with you, and then I'll take a look at the comments as well. And I hope everyone can see everything. Zoom and Facebook are playing nicely still. These are some of the benefits of meditation. I want to take a moment to say that I did make a workbook for everyone. I printed mine out to see what it looks like. And the Path to Presence Retreat workbook. I have this information in the workbook. This, not the myths, but these benefits of meditation, and plus a little bit more. So I just wanted to put this up because I knew not everyone would have their workbook or have looked at it. And I wanted to spell them out a little bit so you could see them for a moment. And then I'll come back to seeing everybody. So the first question for today is why? Why are you here? Why are you wanting to build a meditation practice? Okay, what is your goal? What is your motivation? What are you hoping to achieve? We know most of us are here because for different reasons, actually, for one thing. And we know typically there's a lot of reasons why it might be good and beneficial to meditate, both in terms of physiological health, improving sleep, lowering the heart rate. I have this in the workbook, all kinds of physiological reasons, reducing stress, anxiety, improving what we have here, improving focus, memory, relationships, the quality of relationships, the kindness towards yourself and others, cultivating compassion, getting that resiliency and equanimity. There's all kinds of reasons. But I really want to know why you guys are here. I'll stop sharing my screen and come back. So that's the first thing to think about, and it's sort of a homework question for you. Taking a moment to think about what are the different cues that have brought you to this point. What has drawn you to want to develop a meditation practice? And what is it you're really hoping to get out of it personally? Because um, as I mentioned, it's likely to be different for everyone. So if you have an idea right now, you're welcome to write it down in the chat. Or also for the homework, it's an area I want people to be able to explore and really flesh out, because this is something we'll return to as we look at other parts of our practice. This idea of what your motivation and what your goals really are is a super crucial piece. And so before I switch into meditation, I'm just going to take a moment to look through. Yeah, okay, so I'm looking at the Zoom chat, and Amy was resonating with some of those myths. And Fabiola mentioning that she'd always wondered if she was doing it right. And I see we have some new folks and some people who have also been able to practice. So that's great, because today I did a lot of talking, so we're just going to do a short little practice next. Let me come over to look at Facebook. To figure out how to do that. And there we go. Yeah, some days the meditation is deep and blissful. Sometimes it's all monkey mind and you can get disappointed. So that getting disappointed, having those expectations that are really lofty, and then feeling disappointed can make it hard to show up to your practice. So a lot of the work we're going to be doing this week is how can we set it up so that you succeed? How can we make it so you want to show up? And so that in time and with practice, the meditation itself, the habit kind of reinforces itself. And yeah, all kinds of benefits in here written down, so that's great. And I think we're going to go ahead and switch into having a little sit now. And just a few moments. Why don't you go ahead and find a comfortable position? And you can be sitting in a chair, you can be sitting on a cushion on the ground, lying somewhere, using as many props as you need to. We're just going to start with a very simple meditation today, and we'll kind of build on it a little bit as the week goes by. And I will encourage you to find a position. Yeah, turn your video off if you want to. You don't need to show me. Can close your eyes, right? And find a position where you can find a balance between being comfortable and at ease, and alert, aware, awake, some energy in the body and the mind. And I will talk you into this short meditation, and then you will hear the sound of my singing bell as we come out of the meditation. So go ahead and start to settle in, allowing your body to soften. Maybe closing your eyes if that's available to you, or letting your gaze be soft, not focusing on much. Letting your gaze start to turn inwards as your attention shifts within. And start just by becoming aware of sitting and of breathing. These are the most common anchors in meditation. We're going to start there. Anchoring in the body, anchoring in the breath. And it might help you to actually take a hand or two hands and place it on your belly. Feel your hand receiving each breath. Letting everything else start to fall away as you bring your attention down into the movement of breath. The feel of the breath pushing up against your hand with each inhale. Noticing the sensations throughout your body. Allowing your breath to begin to lengthen and deepen. Feel the pressure on your sit bones, and your pelvis, as you settle deeper into your posture. Meditation, we are taking our seat, beginning this practice, this path. Feel the weight of your lower body softening and sinking heavy, resting towards the earth, allowing yourself to become rooted and anchored. Maybe you feel certain touch points in the body, your feet, your legs, in contact with the ground, with the earth beneath you. Feel that contact with the ground. Let yourself soften and sink just a little more into it. Maybe having some awareness and appreciation for your feet and the ground and the support it gives you throughout each day. And letting your awareness lightly, gently scan through the body, noticing any areas of tension. Can you invite the breath gently in to move through any areas that might be holding discomfort or holding emotion, holding some tension? Returning your attention to your hand and your belly, if your hand is still there on your belly. Feel the way the breath is constantly moving and changing shape in your body. Each breath flowing in and out, coming and going like waves in the ocean. And letting your touch, your hand, become a little lighter. Still connecting to the breath, still receiving each breath. Starting to gently pull off of the body. Noticing even this kind of disengagement from the body, sensations in the hand that linger, the feel on your belly and your abdomen. Very slowly, mindfully placing your hand back in a comfortable position on your lap, folded together. noticing that residual warmth and tingling sensations. When we sit to meditate, there's a lot going on, and that's okay too. Letting the breath and the sensations in your body become an anchor for your attention. Just noticing any sensations, any tingling, any pressure, any tension, any loosening, opening. Noticing the sensations of the breath, opening the spaces between each rib. Feel your whole rib cage moving with ease in all directions. Letting your shoulder blades slide down your back as your shoulders soften. Noticing the sensation of the breath flowing in and out at your nostrils. Any warmth or coolness, tingling, buzzing sensation. Really arriving in your body. And with the breath flowing, each breath is different, changing shape. Letting that breath connect you to the present moment. Just taking another couple of breaths on your own. Maybe feel your whole body breathing. A sense of connection, a sense of wholeness now as you feel your whole body breathing, your whole body sitting. Maybe you imagine the breath arising from all parts of you together in unison. The gentle flow and undulations of the breath. And then when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes, shifting your body in any way that feels good to you as you come out of that posture, out of that position. Reacquainting yourself with your environment around you. Noticing how you feel now, how it feels after just a short period of meditation, a short sitting. One where we're really kind of arriving. And today is about arriving on this path, starting this journey to work on developing a meditation practice. Even if you have one, we're going to look and engage with it a little bit differently and more deeply. So today I talked about why you might be here, you might be drawn to starting a practice, and where you think this practice, this path might be going for you. So if you don't have a workbook, if you didn't receive an email, check your email first. Or if you signed up more recently and you don't have one, please just comment right in workbook in the chat function. And I will go through today and make sure I send out the workbook, which has a few questions on each of the pages. You can also get a journal to engage a little more deeply with some of this. And I see Amy writing that it's the opposite of a frantic or frenetic Monday, which is true. We're starting the week off right with a little short bit of sitting. Sorry, I've gone a couple minutes later. I'm going to finish up now. So thinking about the why, and in the Facebook group, I'm going to actually have a thread for the homework for each day. And after you've done a little thinking and you want to share your homework answers, please put them into the Facebook post. And why add it to the Facebook? Also, if you're in Zoom and you want to share this with me, you can send me an email. And if you want me to put it in the Facebook group and post it for you, I'm happy to do so. And I think it's nice to do this because we're building a sense of community and increasing the accountability and the motivation by having this group of people developing. It's a deeper engagement. You have your reasons, and then you get to see someone else's reasons and see how different they can be, which is really fascinating. Also, those giveaways that I mentioned, I'm gonna choose people based on some of their follow through and engagement. You don't have to be super engaged, but I just want to see that you're attending to things. And tomorrow we're going to talk about when. The topic is finding the middle road, paving your path, and setting the timing for your meditation practice. So you can join me tomorrow at 8:30. If you need to rewatch this, there's the watch party, or you can find this at any point in the units part of the Facebook group. I think this is unit 4 where I have all the lives, and unit 5 is where the homework is. So thank you so much for showing up and for joining me this morning. And I know we covered a lot. I'll try to have a little bit less and be more on time tomorrow. And looking forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at 8:30 or in the watch party in the evening. Please let me know any questions you have. And I look forward to being with you again tomorrow and throughout this week.